morning, patrons. It is Monday, January 20th, aka Brandon Jones's birthday. So instead of Cup of Jones this morning, you get Scoop of Troop. Delicious. Oh, well, I'm so glad you're joining us today. As you can see, this is a pre-taped little thingamabob that I'm doing here, but I'm going to just go ahead and do what Brandon would do. First of all, I want to give you the schedule for the week. This is your week of Easy Allies joy. Here we go. So, right now, you're watching Scoop of Troop, a.k.a. Cup of Jones, a.k.a. Scoop of Troop. Also, at 1 p.m. today is Ian's Synth Stream, which I assume is him doing synthesizer stuff, which is pretty neato. At 4 p.m. today, Mysterious Monsters, don't miss it. Also, Frame Trap comes out today. Tuesday is something called Tim, which may start late. I like to think of it as, is it Tim Tams? What are those things, that the cookies that you have, that you take the bite out of and then you drink through the cookie and then it's chocolate and you eat it and it's so good? Those, that's what it is. Tuesday is Tim Tams. Then, on Wednesday, 10 a.m., Huber's Prison of Love. Have you ever been in a prison of love? It's nice. It's like a hug that just goes on like a little too long, and you're like, oh, and then you kind of settle back in like, that's a nice prison of love. It's good. Then also on Wednesday at noon, Dragon Ball Z, Kakarot. Wednesday, 7 p.m., Deadly Premonition. Whoa, I have a feeling that's going to be scary. Then on Thursday at 12 noon, Trials of Mana, not to be confused with Trials of Amanda, which involve me trying to get my work done with a baby. But I'll be here for the next 5 minutes. Okay, then Thursday at 2:30 p.m., Weekly Hunts. What will they catch this week? We watched Detective Pikachu last night, and I was so tired that I missed all the action sequences because I fell asleep, but I watched like all of the scenes where people were talking, so I enjoyed it. I would say that was good. What was I on? Right. Weekly Hunts. Gotta catch them all. That's Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Thursday, 5 p.m., Pokemon Silver. Still going. Kyle and Brandon doing their thingy. Lots of pixie sticks. I've heard many pixie sticks involved. Then Friday, the Easy Allies podcast. Whoop! Friday at noon, Friend Code. Friday at noon, also Blood Pact. 2 things at once. That's a lot. Then Friday at 9 p.m., Banjo Tooie. Woohoo! Saturday at 9 p.m., Easy Update. And Sunday at noon, Easy Allies podcast again, because one is for the patrons and the other is for the general public. And then there's an asterisk which says see easyallies.com for local times and more. So check out your local listings for where these things might be playing. Hint, it's on the interwebs. All right, so now I've done the schedule. I've acknowledged that this is the Scoop of Troop, Brandon's birthday, etc. Here we are. Gonna have a sip of this water. How about we take some business questions? Ha! All right, now it's time for business questions. Okay, Megan Linhart, what are your thoughts? Now, I want to preamble this. I did not research or read these questions in advance, so if it's not clear already, I'm making this up as we go. But it's Brandon's birthday, and he deserves my least amount of effort at a minimum. All right, here we go. Megan Linhart, what are your thoughts on Saturday Night Fever? Is that the John Travolta movie? I don't know. I have thoughts on Michael, which is the movie where he's an angel. That was an interesting movie. I really liked him in Hairspray. Is he disco dancing? Yeah. I mean, I guess it all depends on how much you like John Travolta. Like, we watched Look Who's Talking. And that's interesting. There's a lot of that movie that does not hold up. Does not. We're probably due for a remake of that film. Like a really, really rewritten version of that for the 2020s. What are we? We're in the 20s. The roaring 20s. Okay. G, the finger. To hell with 2020. What are your Easy A resolutions for 2025? Ooh, 5-year resolutions. What future state are you trying to build to? I think my resolution for Easy Allies is that there'll be more things akin to Box Peak, maybe more scripted content, more pre-taped, pre-filmed stuff, maybe bringing in actors with some union contracts, maybe some more voiceover type shows, maybe some kind of a scripted podcast situation, things of that ilk. I think that they could be a real content producer in that way, and so that would be my resolution for 2025. But of course, it's very centered towards me being more a part of performing things for Easy Allies. That they're going strong, that they're like double the patrons or double the people watching, that the world is like, hey, love and respect, everyone. Maybe that Easy Allies starts a love and respect global movement. That would be great. 5 years from now, Milo will be 4 years old. So another resolution is that we'll have time to go camping with our family, traveling and whatnot. Okay. Brandon K. Gann. For the yearly and monthly meetings Easy A conducts, on average, how productive are they? Have there been any that didn't meet Easy A's goals or expectations? And in your opinion, are they the most important the company does to help its future? Yeah. Okay, so meetings, like people talk about meetings and whether or not they are actually effective. And there's a lot of studies saying that meetings are not the most effective way of getting things done. Nevertheless, an in-person meeting sometimes is important because there are things, let's say if you're doing everything online, a little FaceTime helps. You might read someone, like, here's a debate. If someone types to you, hi, period, what does that mean? Hi, exclamation point, what does that mean? Or hi, nothing. Or even more, yes, with one of those 3 punctuation marks. So if you're one of those people that goes, okay, so it has to have an exclamation mark, otherwise I sound angry, which might, I don't know, maybe that's just some people. But for me, if someone writes, if I'm like, hey, you seemed uncomfortable yesterday, are you okay? And they write back, yes, period, or yes, nothing. I go, oh, yes, period, they're mad. Oh, yes, nothing, they're sad. Yes, exclamation point, they're okay, right? So if you're doing everything online and you don't have that FaceTime, you might assume that there's stuff going on. But when you get face-to-face, you go, oh, you know what? I was annoyed with you for that one thing that you wrote the other day, but now that I see you in person, I love you. I love you. And so I think that that's a really good use of their meeting time. Productivity in meetings, it can be hit or miss. I think that they do a pretty good job of getting through a lot of things. Of course, if the meeting goes on too long, you get a little bit of weariness. There's a thing called decision fatigue, where you make too many decisions and then suddenly you're like, I don't even care anymore. And the next day you might really, really care about whatever that thing was that you didn't care about at 4 p.m. after a 5-hour meeting. So I think it's important to have a little mix of both. Oh, here's Sophie. Sophie's got her antler. She decided to come in here and chew on her antler while I finish answering these questions. This is a multi-part question. Are they the most important thing the company does to help its future? I think their retreats, like their easy living type things, are actually pretty important for their future too. I think having time when they're together and they're enjoying each other's company, the refreshing of their enthusiasm for each other and their friendship is maybe one of the most important things they do. So yes, these meetings are important. Yes, planning things is important, but I think overall, the friendship and rekindling that, most important. Cellamore, any plans to do betting specials around the full PS5 and Series X reveals, assuming they are separate events from E3? I bet they will. Okay, Varun Kachwaha. I'm sorry, I really butchered that. Sorry about that. Varun Kachwaha. With all the delays recently, I was just curious, how would that change your own review schedules? Like, when do you decide who reviews what? Did any of the recent delays like Cyberpunk shift any schedules? Yeah, I imagine it would, because, they all have types of games that they enjoy. For example, Brandon does a lot of open world stuff. I know Huber's all about the Resident Evil stuff. So I think that there's a little bit of a decision in advance, like, okay, Damiani, there's Nintendo stuff coming out, there's a Zelda game, you got to do that. And then there might be another game, a second string game that would also be good if Damiani reviewed it. But if suddenly the Zelda announcement comes in and supersedes that, then obviously that shifts things up. So now, Brandon's going to do it, or Ian's going to do it, or something like that. So I think there's always a little bit of a shuffle. I think that they prioritize who would be the best person to look at the game, and then the schedule sort of shakes out pending that. And then if there are other things going on, if somebody's traveling for work, or if there's life stuff that comes up, I think that they're pretty fluid in moving around who's reviewing what. But overall, they try to stick to who would be the best person to review this and nail that down. Now, of course, everything is pending the release schedule from the developers. So if the developers aren't on schedule, they don't get a review code to them in time, any of those kinds of things, then they're at the mercy of that. But, they do what they can. So, yeah. So I would say it does change things. It does. Okay. Well, that's it for business questions. So now here is probably the best part of the Scoop of Troop. It's an editorial I like to call Sophie catching a ball in slow motion. Thanks for joining me for this Scoop of Troop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Brandon and I are happily celebrating his birthday, and perhaps you'll lift a cup and give him a cheers to his birthday as well. Cheers, patrons. And here's an improvised song. Scoop of Troop, how many scoops does it take to make troop? Ooh.